In this episode of Moviewallas, we talk about him, After the Hunt, and one battle after another. It's time for Moviewallas. Hi, this is Joe.
Hi, it's Rashmi.
And Yazdi as well.
Moviewallas is your weekly dose of film reviews, movie news, and general banter in theatres, on DVD, online streaming, or in the back of an airplane. If you love the movies, this show is for you. Greetings, listeners.
Hello.
Hello.
We're back again.
Summer's come to an end.
I'm
Alas.
so happy
Why are you so happy summer's over?
because it was too hot and oppressive.
This is true.
I agree.
We're not used to 80 degrees here.
And
We
humid.
live in San Diego
And
because
humid, yeah.
I couldn't deal with the humidity.
I know.
And
For
I
those
kind of like
listeners
fall.
outside of
And
California.
then it's holiday time,
Yeah, but outside of
nearly
California.
Christmas.
I'm trying to say something. For those listeners outside California, it's like, how could we wish for summer to be over? But I agree. Weather-wise, it's muggy
brutal.
here,
Yeah.
and the rest of the year is just I'm used to kind of walking around with my light layer that I put on when the sun goes down, when it drops a few degrees, and otherwise being very, very comfortable here. But when we have to run the AC and I'm sweating at night, don't like it. Don't like it. So
Well-
I'm happy it's fall.
Yes, we have had the first official day of fall. So
Indeed.
we're off to the races. Literally, for the movies, we're off to the races
Yep.
now. All
Yep.
the Oscar,
It begins.
Oscar-seeking films start to get released. Yes.
Yeah, we have at least one of them today.
Yeah.
So
Which one?
okie doke. So we are talking about 3 movies today, but we thought we would sneak in a streaming recommendation in our usual segment of I can't find anything to watch on video on demand. Rashmi, Yazdi,
Yes,
what you
I
got
will
in your
go.
queue?
So I know Hulu had a lot of bad press recently. I did watch this one before the bad press started. It is the movie Swiped, starring Lily James. It is the biopic about the founder of the Swipe Right, Swipe Left, Tinder, and Bumble. She's
And that
great
was
in
a
this
woman.
movie. It was a woman, yes. Well, the biopic leads you to believe that she was responsible for Tinder, the word Tinder, but then there was some,
Somebody contesting that.
egregious things that happened, and then she ended up leaving and forming Bumble. But it's an interesting story. I love it because it's got lots of tech bros, and it seems very current about the kind of tech world and what's been going on there. And again, it's entertaining. It's really interesting, and how business is done, and how little startups work, and it's about girl power, and then it's not, and kind of how women have to show up in the workplace. Really good movie. Really enjoyed this. Joe, you watched it with me.
I did, and I liked it.
Yeah.
What was it called? Swiped.
Swiped on Hulu.
Yeah, no, it was super fun. Review. Oh, I'm just looking at the reviews. It hasn't reviewed super well, but I think it worked really well. Lily James was great in this,
It's good to watch.
and it is very much has that made for TV feel,
Yeah.
right? But that doesn't detract from the story, which I actually thought was fascinating.
Yeah, I
for
thought
me,
it was too.
For me, I've always appreciated the tech angle, that kind of exploration of what goes on. And it was a little Silicon Valley. It was a little bit Me Too. It's all of that kind of stuff. It's good.
Speaking of Lily James, one of the movies that we saw, actually it was the last film we saw at the Tribeca Film
Yes.
Festival, was the movie Relay
Yes.
with Riz Ahmed and Lily James. And that movie got released a couple of weeks ago, and it's really struggling at the box office. I don't even know if
Why?
it's playing. It's a perfectly good,
It's
wonderful
a great
thriller.
Yes.
So good, and it's so
Double
clever.
crosses,
and
triple
so
crosses.
smart.
So good. Yeah.
So I'm sure it's going to be on streaming very soon. But if you're looking for a really good recommendation for a movie to watch, Relay, please watch it.
Yeah.
But
What's
anyway,
your choice?
So my recommendation, I'm going to do a twofold. One, I'm going to repeat and say that these are troubled times, and nothing else on television or on the screen allows me to step away
The
from
Great Baking Show.
Yes, then the Great
Yes,
British
you mention
Baking
it
Show.
almost every
time.
week.
No, I don't. But
It's become your Christopher Nolan.
it's become my Christopher Nolan. But the 13th season of the Great British Baking Show has just landed. I love everything about the show. I can talk about it for hours. They have somebody from Ukraine who stammers,
stutters, yes.
who stutters, right? I love that. They are so inclusive. Anyway, so please, if you're like me, a new season of the Great British Baking Show comes out. In fact, a new episode gets dropped every Friday. And after we have had dinner, that's what I'm going to do is watch the new episode. But
I do that with Project Runway.
There you go. Yeah, a lot of people do that.
And Joe's like, why don't you save them up? Because I can't.
Yeah.
Like I have to watch it as soon as it comes. I'm so excited.
So my recommendation actually is a different one. I think I may or may not have mentioned on the podcast, but I took a trip to Montana for a week a couple of weeks ago, and it's beautiful. We went to the Glacier National Park, and then we were going across different towns in Montana, and there was a long ride we had at one point. I believe it was from Glacier National Park to Great Falls, and we went. While we were driving there, we went through what looked like just open plains with nothing. And then as we were driving, there was literally nothing on either side. And as we were driving, we started seeing these little broken down huts, which looked like slums and like broken down cars in front of them. And eventually we recognized that these were all little, Native American like settlements, right? And it just broke my heart that, we talk about the glitz and the glamour of Hollywood and all of this stuff. And we kind of forget the people who originally came here. And, if we as a government are doing anything, we need to lift up those people and make them part of our life instead of kind of literally abandoning them in the middle of nowhere, which was my thought. So as there were four of us in the car and we were talking about it, and one of them recommended that there is this half-an-hour documentary on YouTube, and it's called the Lakota Daughters. So the Lakota tribe daughters. It's only half an hour, and the film documents the life of women and girls from the Pine Ridge American Reservation in South Dakota, and it just interviews different girls, who are Lakota. And, how they've had run-ins with the government and how they've had to struggle. And, the statistics are just horrifying. Like the suicidal rate is 4 times the national average.
Wow.
School dropout rate at this particular location is 70%. Unemployment rate is 80%. And the annual per capita income in this reservation is $8,000 for the whole year. And it just breaks my heart. So I just feel...
In the United States.
In the United States. And these are the original inhabitants, right? We are the people who came after them. So it's a beautiful half-an-hour documentary. I urge everybody to watch it. And I mean, it made me go out and kind of send funding to, the American College, which helps, people of people of Native American origin to kind of get a foothold in life. So I'm getting on a soapbox today, but I just was immensely moved by this. It's just 30 minutes long. It's called The Lakota Daughters. It's on YouTube. Okay.
Joe.
Fantastic. Interesting you picked YouTube this week because my pick is kind of questionably legal. And
okay.
and I say that with the discovery that my recommendation when I searched for it on Google showed up in Prime Video, but is not available in the United States. You have to have a Prime Video UK account and watch it in the UK. So what is this piece of illegal video that I'm recommending?
Illegal in our podcast.
Yes.
It is the documentary about one of my favorite authors, favorite illustrators as a child. So, for reasons we won't get into. I didn't read any of his books, but for reasons we won't get into, Rashmi and I were kind of looking online. For various things to do with illustrations and stories. And Quentin Blake was the name that popped into my head, who illustrated very famously Roald Dahl's books, certainly in the UK published editions. I don't know if I'm pretty sure internationally. So Quentin Blake was actually not just known for Roald Dahl books, but for children's books of all sorts. He also has authored his own stories as well. The documentary is called Quentin Blake, The Drawing of My Life, and it's a BBC documentary which is available on YouTube. And because it might be difficult to find, I will post a link to said documentary at moviewallas.com. So head over to our website when you listen to the podcast, click a link that should take you straight there. Hopefully it's not going to be taken down or anything like that. And it's just a wonderful documentary about a wonderful man. What's remarkable about the way it's done is that he begins with like a 30-foot canvas that is completely blank. And then as he is being interviewed and as they're speaking to him, he fills this canvas with drawings that tell the story of his life, his animation, and
characters that were dear to him.
He's done.
I want to watch.
I wanted to cry through this. It was so beautiful.
It's one of the most beautiful
documentaries
that I've seen in a long time. So again, it's called Quentin Blake,
and he's
Drawing
still
of My Life.
alive. He's in his 90s.
He's in his 90s.
And still alive. Good for him.
Is, yeah. And one of the things that the documentary alludes to, which next time we're in London, Rashmi, I think they did open that Quentin Blake
world or...
Yeah, he acquired a building and he was going to put all of his various art over the course of his life in there. So, just a beautiful piece of film. It's about an hour long. Please watch this. Like I don't beg you to listen to my picks very often, but I'm going to beg you unashamedly to just take an hour of your time. Click on a link. It costs you nothing. It's right there on YouTube. A really magical piece of film. Okay, Rashmi, your pick was
Swiped on Hulu.
Yazdi, you brought us
a half-an-hour documentary called The Lakota Daughters, which is on YouTube.
Brilliant. And if you could send me that link, I'll post it on the site as well. And my slightly maybe pirated pick.
Oh, don't say that. If it's on YouTube, it's
fine. Quentin Blake, The Drawing of My Life. If you're in the UK and listening to this somehow, then you can just go straight to Amazon Prime Video and it will be there. But for the rest of us, you'll have to watch it via YouTube. Okay, let's get into our reviews. We have some meaty things to talk about today. We are going to talk about Him, we are going to talk about After the Hunt, and we are going to talk about One Battle After Another in that order. So let's go. Him.
So The Him is a movie which is set in the world of sports, which oddly is also supposed to be supernatural and horror adjacent. So it's kind of interesting. It's written and directed by Justin Tipping. And I think the movie got some degree of hype because Jordan Peele is one of the executive directors of the movie. And it's great that, he's kind of helping put his name on, young and up-and-coming filmmakers. So, like as I mentioned, the director of the movie is Justin Tipping, and the writers are Zach Akers, Skip Bronke, and Justin Tipping. The movie stars Marlon Wayans, who I really like. I mean, he started his career as a funny man, but he's been in a few pretty serious movies. I was listening to the Pop Culture Happy Hour podcast, and they reminded us he was in Requiem for a Dream, long time ago. So he's a great actor. Tyreek Withers and Julia Fox round out the cast. I believe that the two main co-leads are Marlon Wayans and Tyreek Withers. And the IMDb one-liner for the movie is that a young athlete descends into a world of terror when he's invited to train with a legendary champion whose charisma curdles into something much darker. So I didn't get a chance to see this. The both of you did. I saw another movie that we discussed in a previous podcast, but the both of you went to see this. Should we seek out the movie Him?
Should we, Joe?
And it's not Hymn, it's Him, him like him and her. Yes. So should you? Should people seek it out?
This is a messy thing. What is this thing? Good Lord. I mean, it's a frustrating. Jordan Peele's name alongside this had me intrigued, but also Jordan Peele has rubbed me the wrong way with his last couple of movies, especially the last one,
Nope.
I love
the movie Nope. I'll like. So, look, it's trying to do all sorts of things like be a horror movie. It's trying to be, a Get Out kind of movie. It's trying to be some sort of weird, fantastical commentary on sports and what it takes to be the best. And it's got very weird kind of, demonic worship. It's just a bloody mess. I won't
Literally.
say it, and it really it's quite violent. It's got some jump scares. I just didn't know what I was watching. It didn't hang together well enough for me to kind of say that I enjoyed it. That said, it's really well shot. I mean, I think I've got to kind of admire the filmmaking here, if nothing else. But I think it's got such a problematic script that, if there's a parable here about something, then I'd like to know. If there is some sort of metaphor for things. It's like Yorgos Lanthimos and Jordan Peele got drunk, threw something out on the table, and so yeah, it's a mess. I can't say I hated it though. I will say that I can't say I was like, get me out of the cinema here. I was like,
Get out.
I kept wanting to watch what was going to happen next for something that ultimately failed to deliver. So.
Joe and I are completely aligned. We're completely aligned this week. It's got this device where it's kind of 5 days of a football training camp, and each day has a title like fun. Day 2 is poise. Day 3 is leadership. But the days have nothing to do with what you actually see. It doesn't follow through.
So it's just cutesy.
Yeah, the film, I agree with you, Joe. The filmmaking is great. It's very tight and claustrophobic. It kind of goes from the weaponization of football practice to, a rap video in the space of 15 minutes. So it's tonally inconsistent. It has got some great acting by Wayans. He really did impress me.
Yeah.
He really, really, this is not a phoned in performance. I mean, if the film was any better, then I think, this would be, again, we're coming to the time of potential award consideration, but the film is so bad in terms of the story that, he wouldn't make the cut. He just wouldn't make the cut because the film's really quite a mess.
Yeah.
But
is it a mess because it's oblique or obtuse and it's not willing to tell you what's going on, or it's a mess because it just doesn't come together?
It just doesn't come together. So again, it's about, in the end, it feels like it's about someone who is a GOAT, greatest of all time, almost, passing the baton, but really what transpires is not that. Okay. And it turns into some sort of gladiatorial,
I've just remembered what this movie reminds me of. And do you remember about 10 years ago, there's a movie called Tusk with Justin Long in it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yes.
Which was a complete disaster.
I love that movie.
That's what this is, but it lacks the comedy.
Yes.
Right? Tusk had this really... That was
fantastical as well.
But it had this really bizarre sense of humor that ran through it. And that humor rescued it from being this god-awful, messy, ridiculous, frustrating piece of pulp.
Yeah.
And this did many of the same things.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Without the comedy.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there wasn't any kind of weird transformation or anything, but it was just so there's satanic worship in this, and
this is kind of I think your description was very good, Joe. I mean, I will say it's got a great soundtrack. It's great music, great soundtrack, but it really devolves at one point into a nasty rap video.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's just bonkers. And again, I think I did like the actor Tyreek Withers does a great job. He plays the sort of up and coming.
He was a gold star.
Yeah. Really,
he was really good.
He was very, very good.
Eye candy for the gals
Julia
too.
Fox has just got this really weird character. She's kind of the wife of the Marlon Wayans character, and just it's very strange. It just.
I haven't seen her do anything good since Uncut Gems.
Yeah, it had potential, right? It was trying to explore themes of, again, the race and desire to win and be the best and what that brings, and the world of sport and external people kind of, playing games and pulling strings, which is going to come up again in another movie. But it just, again, I didn't hate it either. I didn't hate it. It certainly doesn't deserve the 31% that it's running at on Rotten Tomatoes, because, again, that would say it's completely crap. It's just not a good movie, but I don't know who I would recommend this to. I don't know who the audience is for this movie.
It's very shouty. It's very, very shouty.
It's very bloody. Again, there's a lot of violence in this.
I was reading some of the Rotten Tomatoes reviews, and everybody agrees that it's visually amazing.
Yeah,
but that it just doesn't.
The production,
it doesn't come together.
Yeah, there's this amazing house in the desert that the training camp is at, and the production on that house was incredible. Looks like a Mandarin Oriental, Mandarin hotel, but. I don't know. Yeah, I think we can move on, Joe.
Okay.
For me, this is probably probably a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm aligned. Yeah, 5 out of 10. It is a visual treat, and it's not boring. I'll give you that.
It keeps you.
It moves at a cracking pace, and it's only 90 minutes in length. So again, it's one of those movies where I honestly think it's worth giving a shot. But it's just messy and violent and unhinged, and it looks good, but I don't know. I just don't know what it was telling me. So too bad.
Did you gave it a 5 as well?
I did. I gave it a 5.
Okay.
So not a rush out and see, unfortunately. Let's talk then about our next movie, which
our next two movies are two movies by a pretty big auteur.
Yes, so I was going to say, our friend Luca Guadagnino has been very busy. Last year, he gave us The Amazing Challenges, which was a Moviewallas love. And he also did the movie Queer last year. And now he is back with the movie After the Hunt, which is a gripping psychological drama about a college professor played by Julia Roberts, who finds herself at a personal and professional crossroads when a star student played by Ayo Edebiri, the lady from The Bear, who's won a lot of awards, levels an accusation against one of her colleagues, played by Andrew Garfield, and a dark secret from her own past threatens to come into light. So again, Luca Guadagnino directs. We have Julia Roberts, Ayo Edebiri, Andrew Garfield, Michael Stuhlbarg is here, Chloe Sevigny is here as well. So it's a really good cast. Is this worth watching? Yazdi, After the Hunt. Is this a rush out and see?
I think people should see it. I think the movie has a lot of problems, and I think most of the problems relate with the script in terms of people just behaving exceedingly stupidly. The movie purports to be highly, highly intellectual, right? These people are talking constantly about super intellectual things, but then they behave like children, and they're all kind of hateful people. I think all the characters in the movie. But outside of that, I think this is Luca Guadagnino's attempt to do Tar, which was the Kate Blanchett movie, which is far superior.
It's exactly that. I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, it's far superior, I think, because this movie kind of is trying to get at the same thing, but it's far less successful. And again, it's because of the script. But there is a part, we'll talk more about it. The part of the movie, a part of the music really annoyed me, but the acting is excellent. And I still like that this is not an easy movie. It's a movie which asks a lot of uncomfortable questions, and it's trying to get at the unknowable nature of truth, especially when it comes to sexual accusations, right? Yeah. If somebody accuses somebody of assault or rape, it's very hard to tell, the truth. And I think, so I kind of give the movie credit for taking on a very kind of messy, tricky, difficult topic and, doing a full 2-hour movie out of it. The acting is amazing, but we'll talk more about it.
Joe.
I like this. I mean, I don't think it's a work of greatness, but I do think the movie actually, it was never ahead of me. Like I talk about this a lot, where I like the fact that some scripts are just so playfully ahead of me that I kind of knew its twists and turns. Like there was no like gasps when I think there were revelations, which I think should have been shocking. I was like, yeah, I kind of figured it was going to be that. And so, that's not to say that I'm some brainiac here. I just think the script needed a little tightening. But I mean, overall, I mean, I enjoyed watching these actors do their thing. They were all absolutely fantastic. Julia Roberts looks unlike I've ever seen her.
Yeah.
I mean, Yazdi, you've been saying for years that, you can't wait for her to kind of get old and into that kind of, less beautiful kind
she
of
doesn't have to play America's sweetheart.
Yeah. And here she is, and she's fantastic. I really enjoyed a lot of the dialogue as well. I mean, especially early on in the movie, they do throw out, nothing quite matches the Blanchett scene in Tar, where she's talking to her students. And again, Yazdi, you called that one out. And I was literally, as you were saying that, I was trying to think, what was that movie with Blanchett? And that's exactly the one. So it exists within that world of academia and intellectualism. But ultimately, we are just bags of meat controlled by hormones and desires. And so I think that's what the movie's trying to play with, right? You've got all these super smart people doing stupid things. But I liked it. I mean, I've seen it's taking a little bit of a whipping critically, but I'm just not there. I think this movie is a good one.
Agree. I think this is, again, I enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed the ride. Joe, the movie was ahead of me. I don't think I could, of the,
Sorry. Yeah, go on. Yes.
Shut that thing down.
I was trying to read the reviews.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes.
I really like the fact that it's trying to, there's a lot in here, right? There's class and relationships and gender and generational differences. There's a great moral dilemma here. There's an interesting marriage relationship going on. There's an illness that's never quite comes to fruition. So there are a few, again, I think I really agree with you, Joe, that if the script had one more, right? We always say this, if it had one more go, then I think it could have been absolutely excellent, right? This would have been like a thriller of its time. I don't understand. There's an annoying ticking. The movie starts with this annoying ticking.
Metronome.
Tick-tock, metronome. And then it comes on again, but and the voice is very quiet. You can't hear the voices. And it's never explained what that is. So that, again, there are a few things that are in the movie, like Julia Roberts plays a woman who's really sick, but we don't know why she's sick and what's going on. And it's never mentioned. That's
what I mean by the script is kind of messing with you a little bit, because the way she seems really sick and your mind kind of starts thinking it's one thing when it turns out to be something else.
Well, it's nothing.
Right.
It didn't actually end up being anything. Right. But I really did like some of the moral dilemma that's created. And again, I love the performances are fantastic. I mean, they're really, really good performances. The movie itself just didn't rise to absolute greatness. But I think it's a good movie. I think it's a worth watch. Like a Friday night,
We will see this in awards season. I think the performances transcend the problems with the script. I mean, it might be one of those movies that still picks up the acting award. Sorry, Yazdi, I think I interrupted you.
No, I just wanted to comment, and this is one of my pet peeves, and nobody cares about this, but I always am fascinated by posters for movies.
Yeah.
And the poster for this movie...
Yeah, I like the
poster for this movie has the four lead actors on it, Michael Stuhlbarg, Julia Roberts, Ayo Edebiri, and Andrew Garfield. But I think hand over heart, this is not Andrew Garfield's movie. This is not Michael Stuhlbarg's movie. This is not even Ayo Edebiri's movie.
This is
Julia Roberts' movie.
Yeah.
The entire movie is seen from her perspective.
Correct.
And it kind of annoys me. She should be at the front and center. And she is the biggest star out of them. And I think they just wanted to be gracious and include the other actors. But I think they're doing a disservice, because most people would see the poster and not even realize that's Julia Roberts. For one thing, she has a blonde, very, very blonde hair.
Yeah.
But I've always thought Julia Roberts is a good actor. she really commits. Like, her character is all kinds of nasty in this, and you know, people say horrible things to her, and she has a scene at the very end in a hospital bed which is just amazing. I can see that playing out during an Oscars clip. I think she may not be a very good actor, but I think when she is with a good director, she can really do wonders, right? She was in Erin Brockovich. I think here with Guadagnino, she probably does some of the best work of her career. I would not hold it past nominating her for Best Actress.
Yeah.
She's really very good here.
I thought Andrew Garfield was excellent. So was Michael Stuhlbarg.
Stuhlbarg is
amazing.
so good. Yeah.
It's hard to play those roles without overacting them, right? If you've been accused of something, it's easy to go over emotional or over shouty. And I think they were nuanced performances. They were good.
And these are difficult topics, right?
Yeah.
When a student accuses a professor of sexual impropriety, there is a power dynamic difference. There is a inclination, and rightly so, to believe the woman. But this movie posits that maybe there is a vengeance component to this. Maybe the instructor said something to the student which made the student make the accusation. And again, like Tar, this movie never actually shows you what transpires, right? You just see the characters after the alleged event happens. Before and after.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that this movie kind of tells you, like, who do you believe, and can you ever believe anybody? And I like that. That's where the movie is going at. I just found that the characters behaved very strangely. Like, Julia Roberts is supposed to be this Yale professor who's very, high up, and she constantly uses the F word with her students, which kind of like, she's upset one day and she uses the F word repeatedly. These days, I don't think any professor would do that because students are constantly filming their professors. So it just felt to me like this doesn't seem very truthful, right? They have a giant argument outside a class where the students are watching.
Yeah.
I don't think any professor would do that either. They would be a little bit more guarded. So I think there are some concessions given to making the movie more dramatic and more melodramatic. So and people kind of behave in strange ways. But all that set aside, I think as unformed and kind of rough around the edges as this movie might be, I think what it is pretty, it's definitely worth the watch, and it's pretty thorny in the stuff it covers. Yeah.
I do want to talk about the performances, in particular Ayo Edebiri.
Yeah.
Where, she is one of the best things about TV's The Bear.
Yeah.
And I think as an up-and-coming kind of actress, she's got talent to spare. But I do feel that her role in this movie was clumsily written.
Yeah.
She was trying to be this kind of Gen Z, she has a lot more maturity and depth than I think this character was portrayed. So, bravo for her taking on this role.
Holding her own against
these
Julia
fine actors.
Roberts,
but
yeah.
I do feel like she had the clunkiest dialogue of anyone here, and the hardest role to play, and I don't think she quite pulled it off. That's not a slight on her. That's, I think, a slight on the writing, which never quite convinced me of the motives and actions of her character. So I just want to say that because I feel like she would otherwise be on the same list as everyone else for the supporting nominations, but because of that clunkiness, didn't work as well for me as the others.
I would agree. I think if somebody has never watched The Bear or any of the other movies,
my God,
any of the
unbelievable.
She's unbelievable. But if any of the she was in that other movie about these girls in a school. Anyway,
I'm just going to pull it up.
So if they've never seen Ayo Edebiri, Bottoms. If they've never seen Ayo Edebiri, and if they see this movie, they'll come off like really underwhelmed. Like, the person in the movie who plays, the individual who charges the sexual assault, she wasn't very good. But I think it's because her character has been very underwritten.
Yes.
Right. And the movie does a lot of swings in terms of, I don't want to ruin the ending, but it's like, I still don't understand where she stood.
Yeah.
In this whole, it's pretty epic in terms of what happens.
The end was a little strange. I didn't understand it was almost like an epilogue, but it wasn't an epilogue.
But it seemed like an unearned epilogue.
Yeah, it didn't quite rise to what it should. So let's wind this one up. Anything else to say?
I do want to say that, sorry, one last thing, is that Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross have been celebrated and awarded for doing amazing movie scores in every Luca Guadagnino movie. They did amazing stuff with Challengers. They did amazing stuff before. I want to spit on their faces for the score they have done here, because their score drowns out the dialogue all the time.
It's very clanky horror music. I agree.
But it's a disservice, right? I mean, I think Guadagnino trusts them too much, and he took his movie and gave it to them, and I think they've worsened the movie. I was really annoyed by the background soundtrack. I
did write down horror film music. It's too horror. It's trying to...
But it's okay if it's of one piece with it. It just
clanky.
Felt... Yeah, I had the same issue with Highest to Lowest, where I felt like the music was ruining the movie. The background score, it was like, it's like the characters are trying to say something, and then the score is trying to say something at the same time, and they're clashing constantly.
Good point.
I'm so glad you said that, because I feel like they were stealth directing the movie through the music, and
that's a very good point. That's exactly what they were doing. Yeah,
they're almost trying to say, right, be shocked here, loud noise,
Yeah.
Be puzzled.
The music just swelled at some points for no reason.
So, that's a great point. And I think, they are fantastic at what they do, but they probably got given a little too much latitude here. Yeah.
Okay, let's score this one.
I'll go. I mean, I like this movie in spite of its flaws, and I'm kind of puzzled over its 50% Rotten Tomato rating. I think it's a 7 or an 8 for me. I can't say it's particularly memorable, so I'm going to go with a 7. But it is, if nothing else, just go see it for these people who are really wonderful actors and performers. I mean, it's a very accomplished thing, right? Is it the best movie of the year? No, but overall, it's fine.
Okay, Yazdi.
Yeah, for all its limitations, I think the movie adds up to something pretty strong. I would end the movie like right before that, epilogue. Like there's a wonderful scene in a hospital, which I think at that point the movie should have ended. But, I'm not directing the movie clearly. But for all its problems, I think this is a movie that people need to watch. It's very much off the time. It's no Tar. I mean, if you want to see a really good movie about the consequences of allegations of sexual assault, then watch Tar with Cate Blanchett. I think it's on Amazon Prime. I know it's on Amazon Prime. But be that as it may, I think this is Julia Roberts' movie through and through. And, she does a phenomenal job. I think a lot of people confused her acting with the character she portrays, which is kind of unlikable. So there's a lot of, Julia Roberts is wrong for the role. I don't think she's wrong for the role. I think she's very, very good at playing a very, very unsympathetic role. Yeah. So good for her. Yes.
Strong 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should hunt this one down.
Yeah, and we will see nominations in categories from this movie. I think we will. I think the performances were on point. Very, very strong throughout.
Okay, final one of the evening, and then food.
Yes. So movie number 3 of the week is the latest entry in Paul Thomas Anderson's CV, which is One Battle After Another. So...
Yes, so I can introduce that. So Paul Thomas Anderson is very well regarded as one of the great living American filmmakers. He started with Punch Drunk Love, and he's made movies such as Boogie Nights and Inherent Vice and Licorice Pizza and There Will Be Blood, and just bona fide out and out classics. So anytime he has a new movie coming out, it's cause for a lot of excitement. And his latest movie is called One Battle After Another. And it stars Leonardo DiCaprio. And it's curious that, those two have never worked together before. This is their first movie together. But, this, in terms of the cast, this movie is an embarrassment of riches. Leo DiCaprio is in the lead role. Regina King is here. Tiana Taylor, who was magnificent in 1001, a movie that came out a year ago. She's here. Sean Penn is here, and we'll talk more about Sean Penn. Benicio del Toro is in this movie as well, in a wonderful role. Tony Goldwyn from Ghost and from Scandal and many other. He's here. James Downey Sr. is in this movie, the father of Robert Downey. and Alana Haim, who's been in a lot of his movies this year as well. So pretty impressive cast. And the one-liner for the movie is, when their evil enemy resurfaces after 16 years, a group of ex-revolutionaries reunite to rescue one of their own daughter. I should say that the movie, I've been reading up about this movie since we watched it. Paul Thomas Anderson started writing this movie about 20 years ago.
Oh.
It's based on a novel by Thomas Pynchon called Vineland. But, because he wrote it over 20 years, he's put in a lot of himself. So this movie is not a very faithful adaptation of this, but that's what it's based on. This movie comes with a lot of expectations, and the studio is releasing this in a gazillion theaters. It's probably Paul Thomas Anderson's widest release to date. So is the studio going to lose money over this?
So remember in our last show, we were talking about how Caught Stealing was almost Darren Aronofsky's attempt at a Guy Ritchie movie. This movie, I feel, is Paul Thomas Anderson's quest to be Tarantino. Having said that, I do love Tarantino, and I love this movie. I thought this is a great, fun joyride, great acting, great production. I really, really enjoyed this movie.
I'll say Tarantino, maybe a couple of steps to the left where it's more like a Joel and Ethan Coen kind of thing.
Yeah. It's
got that kind of Western feel to it. But yeah, I agree. This is not what I expected of a Paul Thomas Anderson script. It's violent, it's entertaining, it's fast paced. It's got a lot of things that it's trying to say, but never goes there. I think ultimately I kind of distill this down to like a simple action thriller. It doesn't elevate itself above any of that. In fact, I kept thinking of Emilia Perez as I was watching this. I don't know why. It had that same. It was in that same universe. There's no singing in this. There's no.
I mean, I see it.
I can see that. It's a good.
Do that.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but. I mean, this is a fun ride. I think it thinks it's better. I think it thinks it is better than it is. And I couldn't escape that kind of feeling of, he feels like he's created a masterpiece here and is like, very smug and self-satisfied.
It's a very smug movie. I'll give you that.
Yeah. So, I'm going to ultimately knock a couple points off for that. But this is a blast. This is an absolute blast. I recommend it highly to anyone who's a movie lover.
Yazdi.
So I think the movie is completely bona fide, just completely crazy. It's just an insane movie, right?
Yeah.
It starts...
It's a fever dream.
It's a fever dream. And it's 2 hours and 41 minutes long. And I think absolutely the movie is a little smug. I think the movie... ultimately is about characters who never really feel very grounded to me. They all feel like they're written in somebody's script book as too clever by half characters. Like everybody is either tipping over into, either into Tarantino or a Coen Brothers movie or trying to get at something dark. So I think when you sit down and start to kind of dissect these characters and the plot, it doesn't hold up at all. But who cares, because it's such a joyride, right? So I'm like you, Joe, I'm mixed about this, because I'm like, if you put this under a microscope, this is not going to hold up well. But you are on a roller coaster ride, literally. I mean, I think, Paul Thomas Anderson's movies have been very kind of internal and intuitive and cerebral and slow burn. Every one of his past movies are slow burning movies, if nothing else. This is not a slow burn. This is a fast burn from the first minute of the movie.
Yes.
And it keeps burning like a blaze through the remaining 2 hours and 41 minutes. So I want to give it credit, because it's very hard to sustain that level of adrenaline and energy and just drive that pushes this through. So I'm really torn about this movie, and I have to give it flowers for it. It's a very weird comparison, but it kind of reminded me of Anora a little bit, because Anora too, after like the first 45 minutes, once it gets on the horse, that horse just keeps galloping and it keeps going. So, and I wrote in my notes multiple times, like, is this funny unintentionally, or is it meant to be funny? And as the movie went on, I realized it is meant to be funny, but
it's almost a black comedy.
It's very, very black comedy.
It's a very, I mean, it's exaggerated, and that Sean Penn is character, and
we got
a little bit more, and it would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it stays, the whole movie stays shy of ridiculous and unbelievable, to your point, Yazdi. But I mean, again, I was thinking, oh my God, we're going to sit in there for 2 hours and 41 minutes. And I didn't even look at my watch until an hour and a half in.
Yeah.
Like, it really does tick along very nicely. And it's joyful, but yet it's got some really, I think, to your point, Joe, that you made, it's got some serious things that it's bringing up.
I mean, at the beginning, for sure. I mean,
it's got like vigilante, and it's got, men in dark rooms making decisions about the world, and it's very relevant to what's happening today in the world, right? That it's really got a lot to say politically, but it never crosses ridiculousness. It almost does. I mean, again, there are lots of things you could nitpick, like the Benicio del Toro character. He's in it way too long, considering the role he has in the movie.
But he's having such a great time.
It's great to watch him.
Yeah,
and Leo's great.
I mean, honestly, I commend the studio. Is it Warner Brothers or whoever? They are doing this colossal, giant release of this movie. But this movie is about far left revolutionaries.
Yes,
this movie, a main plot point is a white supremacist group. This movie does not mess around. It's getting its hands dirty, and it's kind of,
saying something.
It's saying something. So I'm really...
Warner Brothers,
Warner Brothers. I'm really... And it's very... I mean, this is a very anti-establishment, nihilistic kind of movie. Every character in this movie hates authority, and they're constantly fighting to bring authority down. And it's amazing that a movie like that is getting such a wide release, and I'm really curious to see how it's going to play in the smaller towns, right? But I hope it does great, because who else is doing this? Who else is making these 3-hour-long movies? Well, Scorsese does, a few Tarantino does, Fincher does, but who else is making these kind of absurd, ambitious, insane films with high octane energy? So I bow to it.
It's running at 97% critics and 90% audience. I mean, it's doing well.
Yeah.
Again, very well acted. It's the pacing is fantastic.
I don't want to ruin it for our viewers, but we've seen Leo DiCaprio a lot in the last 20, 30 years. I've never seen him like this. I've never seen, have you ever seen a funny Leo DiCaprio? I mean, I didn't even know he could do comedy. I guess Wolf of Wall
Street is the nearest I've seen him act this kind of batshit in some ways, where it's the extreme version of Leo.
But he's also very pitiable. I think
he's great. And it's nice to see him playing a father.
Yeah.
Especially when, he dates women that age.
Yeah. No, and I think, Paul, there's a great interview of Paul Thomas Anderson and Leo DiCaprio on Letterboxd, which I read. And he's saying the reason why it took him 20 years to develop this was because he has 4 daughters.
Right.
And, he ultimately made this movie about the father-daughter relationship.
Right.
Because, that's his legacy.
Yeah.
So... a lot of the movie kind of makes sense, from that perspective. Yeah,
totally. Joe, anything else to say on this one?
No, not really. I mean, again, I think performances are just kind of top notch throughout. Some of this material, I think, has to be handled quite carefully by the actors. The Sean Penn character in particular is bordering on caricature. There's there's a sexual kind of deviance here, and a lot of kind of suppressed. I feel it's. I hate to kind of generalize so much, but he's that kind of angry repressed individual that. In this case, we saw the kind of angry repressed Gary Cooper. Is it Gary Cooper in American Beauty?
Yes. Yes.
Gary Cooper? No, who was in American Beauty?
I'll look it up now. I know which one you're talking about.
So it has that kind of internal.
Do you mean Kevin Spacey?
No.
The ultimately the guy in American Beauty, the guy that did it, the Colonel.
What was his name? Yeah, I know who you mean. Will,
I'm looking up right now.
Yeah. So it has that kind of strangeness, coupled with
Chris Cooper.
Chris Cooper, not Gary
Who was
Cooper.
great.
Yeah, thank you.
Colonel
thank
Fitz.
you. Yeah, it's got that same thread to it. But I mean, I'm rambling. It's super fun. Let me wrap up. I mean, I think overall, I struggle to give it my 9 because I think the movie there's too much incredulity. I didn't quite believe the criminal gangness, the stuff that they do at the beginning that they got away with, that no one seems to catch them. It was all kind of dialed up to 11 and overcooked. So I think, I like the way you put it, Yazdi, oftentimes, like there is a more grounded version of this script that is like an 11 out of 10 for me, where the stuff that is just OTT is just, click down a notch or two and get us into that Breaking Bad level of drama rather than the big shouty set pieces that we have here. But so it's fun. It's an absolute riot. People will be talking about this for the rest of the year. I think people that see it will enjoy it. I mean, politics notwithstanding, I think it's going to annoy some people, but I think it's going to annoy kind of everyone. So props to them for that. 8 out of 10.
Yazdi.
Yeah, an 8.5 out of 10, which, like you, Joe, I would have loved to give it a 9 because it's such an ambitious film and it's all clearly a labor of love and it's been shot beautifully. But again, I was bothered by how deliberately over the top it was, especially in the first half hour. I mean, there was this overt sexualization of violence, which really didn't sit well with. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. It didn't sit well. I'm like, what are you saying? Like, am I supposed to be sympathetic to this character? But having said that, Leo is great. I've been hearing a lot of talk about Sean Penn, getting nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
He's amazing in it.
He is amazing. And he takes a lot of risks.
Amazing.
I mean, I don't know which other, A-list actor would take on this role. So I think these are very, very committed performances. And ultimately, I think what moves this from an 8 to an 8.5 for me, and I'm going to back down to an 8, is, there is... The second half of the movie is just one giant chase, right? There is two groups of people who are trying to get at Leo DiCaprio and his daughter, and it's just exhilarating. But in particularly the last half hour of the movie, there is a chase scene on a highway, which is so beautifully shot.
Oh, I thought I was on a roller coaster. I literally was giving me the,
they should teach that in film school, right?
Yeah.
And I hope they do because it's probably the giddiest half hour I've felt in any movie, this year in the cinema. I was like giddy, I was like, oh my God, I was at the edge of my seat. And if anybody can do that to that level of perfection, I forgive everything that came before it. It is epic. It's not perfect. 8.5, which I'm backing down to 8. We will be hearing about this movie a lot come Oscars.
And it's a 9 for me. I will battle the both of you for that. So it's a 9 for me. It was in that spirit of Tarantino, Ethan, Joel Coen, Joe, you're right, 2 of my favorites, and it completely delivered. I love this movie. I thought even the young kid,
Chase Infinity, we didn't mention
Infinity, we didn't mention her. Right. She was great and could just hold her own. And Sean Penn was mesmerizing to watch. I mean, horrible on the screen, but just
and
each character was so well formed. I was just.
And we haven't mentioned Tiana Taylor, who gets saddled with I think the most difficult role in the movie.
Yeah.
But she's up to it.
Yeah.
She's definitely up to it. Yeah.
It was great.
Good stuff.
Love it. There was even an electrophoresis gel in there. I was like, wow. This is like, wow.
Which was a key.
When did science ever become cool in a movie? But I was like, okay, that's good. That gives it an extra point from me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Science nerds,
I was like, wow, we're doing a live.
And the first few scenes in the movie were shot in San Diego at the Ota Mesa
I saw that,
detention center. I don't know how they got permission to do it.
I think they recreated it.
Maybe they recreated it. Okay. But yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a very San Diego film. In fact, I did see a news article where they had, it brought millions into the economy. when they shot here, because they were here for weeks. They were here for like 6 weeks or something.
Wow.
filming.
And that final half an hour.
I didn't bump into Leo.
Maybe you did. He walks around with dark glasses and a baseball hat.
Yeah. And that final, chase scene on the highway, that was shot at Anza Borrego, which is like 45 minutes away from here.
Yeah.
So, a lot of this movie was shot in Southern California. And again, there are parts of the movie where Leo is completely absent, like for half an hour in the movie. So again, this is not a traditional movie at all. It's not a traditional action movie. It's a movie with a lot of ambition.
Yeah.
It's crazy insane, but, but why not?
Great.
It's kind of a
I think
Western
it's
in
a
the
great
same
movie.
vein that No Country for Old Men is a Western, right? It's got,
Great movie.
Yeah. I hope it makes a ton of
The
money.
Christmas Adventurers.
Yes. Yes.
Love that.
Yes.
We'll
That's
leave it
I
at
was going to
that.
say, that's a little in-joke for those who have seen the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you once again for listening. We're sitting here at 55 minutes. It's time to go.
Oh,
My belly's rumbling. So we look forward to bringing you more reviews. As we say, the pace is picking up. So you should see more regular podcasts from us for the rest of the year. Until next time, too many movies, too little time. A goodbye from me.
And me.
And me as well.